Neil, you there?
That's a bit better, mate. How are you?
Yeah. Sorry, I walked outside and just went blank, but I'm gonna just better in the passage in the doorway by the front door, and your colour's pretty nice and clear now. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Smart house, smartphones, and a dumb connection.
Yeah, really annoying.
Not to worry, mate. We won't let that get in the way. So I'll start again. So you came over from New Zealand in 1969, yeah?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Morgans didn't know very much about Australia, but fell in love with the place, and grew up in Australia and saw some amazing things, and finally got to Perth, come across the top, come down to Perth, walked in off the street, and got a job.
And you were working at Perth Zoo?
Yeah. Yes,
what was your role there?
I used to look after all the large tooth stock and also the carnivores. Sorry. Yeah, the boss was a great guy. He said the interview was, he said to me, "You're not a Kiwi, are you?" He said, "I hate Kiwis." And I said, I don't like Aussies either. And we got along great, mate.
Ah, excellent.
He was a rough old boy, but he taught me everything I could know. And anyway, so you work 2 weekends out of 3, and of course I think it was coming up towards Christmas, and my dad come over from New Zealand, and I said, "We're going down south," so went down to Albany, and I can't even remember. It was in between Walpole and Denmark, and crystal clear morning, and I went back to the zoo, and I was getting into photography. I took pictures of all sorts of things, and I showed the boys a 28 parrot, and they said, "Oh, for goodness sake, you don't have to go down there to get a picture of one of them." I was that excited. I was seeing things, and then saw this dog with stripes. Yeah.
So what happened? You were out with your dad, just going for a bit of a cruise down there, having a look around?
Yeah, well, I had 4 days, so I said, "Look, we'll go to Albany, and then we'll go across the bottom, and then head slowly up to Perth via Margaret River and that sort of thing." So so it was in between Denmark and Walpole. We pulled over the side of the road. Dad said, "Come on, pull over, I've got to have a smoke," and I've never smoked in my life anyway. Over, and we just standing there having a yarn, and this the Thylacine, as I got told, that's supposed to be extinct on the mainland for hundreds of years or thousands of years. I saw this animal just walk casually across the road. He was in no hurry. He just looked over, but of course it was 50 years ago, and I couldn't even tell you what colour he was, but the stripes were distinct across his shoulder and on his tail.
Okay.
And
what time of day was it roughly?
It was in the morning. It was, I reckon, about 8:30 in the morning. It was a crystal clear morning. There's no mist or no fog. It was, and I didn't make a mistake. It was what I saw. But the funny thing is, I told a few people, and of course I got bagged for it. They just laughed. They said, "You're obviously on drugs or something." Anyway, I got back to the Perth Zoo, and I just showed the boys a lot of photos that I took of different animals, but of course I never thought about taking one of a dog with stripes. And anyway, it was only on the road a few seconds.
And what sort of distance was it from you when you saw it?
I'm thinking 30 feet.
Sorry, what was that? You broke up a bit then.
I'm looking across the road here now, and I'm thinking 30 feet, 40 feet.
So not far at all. That's only about 10, 15 metres.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what did your dad see it as well?
Yeah, Dad. He's dead now, but he saw it, and we both sort of looked at each other. That's a weird looking dog, and I never thought too much about it until I got back, and I created a lot of laughter at the Perth Zoo. They all took the mickey out of this dog here. They've been extinct on the mainland for thousands of years, so I stopped talking about it after that for quite a long time. And I've talked to people in Tassie, and I've met some interesting people, so I reckon they'd seen sightings and that. But no, it was...
Sorry, mate, you're breaking up again there.
I'm sorry. I worked at the zoo with dingoes, foxes, and there's no distinction between the size of a dingo. We had tamed dingoes. The size of them, it was probably that kind of size. I mentioned German Shepherd, I said, but and it was slight build, but very, very skinny and lean. Yeah.
Okay, so they had a bit of a greyhound sort of shape to it as far as
it was
stockiness
really
goes.
Yeah.
Yep. And what colour was it? Did you say before?
I don't remember.
No.
I just can't tell you that. I don't know. I would have probably been able to tell you 50 years ago, but now it's murky.
Yeah, fair enough. But you remember seeing stripes. Was there anything else about it that was peculiar?
Because I'd never seen anything like it. There were distinct stripe markings across the shoulder, behind the neck, and then across the tail, towards the top of near the hip, I suppose you'd call it.
Yep, from the hip back to the tail.
Yeah, and anyway, I went to when I told them at the zoo, the only guy that he said, "Hey, listen," it was the head Australian section keeper, and he said, "Go and have a look in the museum," and the stripes were what I saw, and the animal was the same, except the one in the museum it looked huge, gigantic compared with what I saw. Mm.
Okay, was the one in the museum a taxidermy?
Yeah, I believe so. Look, I've never been back to the museum. In fact, it's only because of your site I got all excited, and I've been getting up early in the morning and look at your videos and everything, and your paw marks that you've been taking casts of, and I got all excited again. I thought, wow, this is good.
Well, I'm not going to laugh at you, mate, because I get literally dozens and dozens of people with very similar stories from all over Australia have these encounters, you see. So your story's going to be respected and appreciated with me.
Yeah, no, that's lovely. I've talked to a lot of people, and the interesting thing, when I worked at the zoo, I worked with the carnivores and I had a group of farmers come in, and they just had a sheep torn open, and they said, "Would we be able to take some plaster casts of their paws?" And so we put a box in with the plaster and my puma or mountain lion run across it, and got some nice paw marks for them to check. And they said, "We saw stuff like that on our farms." So I know that's deviating a little bit from what we're talking about, but
no, not really, because you'd still, taking evidence and comparing evidence, so that's good.
Yeah. No, it was the image was still crystal clear in my mind, and I had a camera on the front seat of the car, but because we were just standing there having a yarn and talking, and we just sort of looked, and I guess I wouldn't have had time to get to the car, open it, grab the camera, and it was in those days there was just the film cameras, but it just took its time walking across the road, because I had people say, "Oh, did it hop across?" I said, "No, it just walked."
Yep. Yeah. How many years were you at the zoo for?
I reckon. I worked there from 1969 to 71.
Yep.
And took my lovely wife. We got married and took her back to New Zealand, and I was in the fire service till 78, and then they put me on again.
So you had another stint there.
Yeah, till probably about 8 or 9 years, so about 10 or 11 years all up. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So, and you were working with feeding carnivores, and like you said, you dealt with foxes and dingoes, so you're familiar with the difference between the three.
Yeah, but not. I looked after Maine wolves and quite a number of animals. But my mistake was to learn everything I could at the zoo, which put me on. Virtually, I was on 24 hours a day on call, and if anything went wrong, I looked after Trish, the elephant there, and at one stage she belted one of the keepers, and I was working every day for about 10 weeks, and my wife, she said, "I've had enough." She said, "I'm bringing up the kids and you're always at work." But
so you had to change jobs.
It was a dream job. It was a beautiful job. I love going to work.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, mate. That's awesome. What did your dad say about it in later years? Did you talk about it ever again, or?
No, my dad hardly said anything about anything, you know.
Yeah, man, a few words.
Yeah, he always was, and yeah, it was a shame because we never got to talk much. But no, I raved on at the Perth Zoo, but I got shut down. I got laughed at. I know what I saw, and I didn't make a mistake. and now I've been looking at your site. I've been. I thought I'm going to start carrying my camera all the time because where I live in Vass, between Dunsborough and Busselton, I'm not far from down, you know, Walpole, Denmark, Augusta, or any of those places. It's just beautiful country down there. And
there's plenty of sightings in that part of the world too, as you'd probably be aware.
Not yet, I haven't, but I've been starting to really look into your stuff, and it got me going. I thought, oh, this is exciting, really exciting. I don't know that you'd want people to tell you if you could take a picture. I wouldn't want to tell people because someone would want to go and shoot it or something.
Well, look, there's always that element there, but I mean, you know, that's the odd person that might just go and do the stupid thing. The vast majority of people, and especially in Tassie, they want to protect the animals, so they sort of keep it quiet when they know they're around. But in the meantime, we do some pretty silly things to the environment these things are meant to live in. So you've got to weigh it up, I guess. I'm not a huge fan of passive-aggressive conservation myself.
No.
So
no, it was like in New Zealand, we walked out there and put a bounty on them. And now they're coming back. They're a real pest, but they're a beautiful parrot.
Yeah. Look, New Zealand's had its problems with endangered species too, hasn't it?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So, in regards to your sighting, did you tell many other people or just your colleagues at work and got laughed down and you just sort of left it at that?
Oh, no, over the years, I've run into mates and we've talked and I've got some very, very good mates that are like me. I belong. I'm in a congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I've used to go and work on churches and help them build. We call them kingdom halls, and I've run into guys, and we call them brothers. They're off farms, and they'd seen sightings that looked like mountain lions on their property. They had lots of sheep torn, but no one's interested. No one seems to be interested.
There's a lot of cougar-type animals and black panthers and stuff reported all over Australia, but down that way in particular, there was a journalist that got quite interested in the late 70s, early 1980s, and he did a really good book about it.
Right, okay.
I've got a copy of the book at home. Mine's a little bit fallen apart. The cover's come off it, but it wasn't a bad book. Can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. But yeah, there was pretty full-on investigations into it, and the way the government handled it at the time was really arrogant and typical, what you'd expect from a government, I guess, sadly.
Well, I got 3 sons, and I was he said, Dad, I'm sure they'll be around still. And like the numbats supposed to be extinct in 1930s. Well, they're back here now, and but anyway, I was talking to my daughter-in-law, and I was down south with her dad when I reckon she was a teenager, and she said we were walking down near the beach, and we both looked round, and she said we saw a Tassie tiger as well. And because they're up in Perth at the moment, my son's in hospital; he's in emergency. But I want to talk to them more about where she saw a sighting. It would have been when she was a teenager. She's probably 40s now.
Okay, so it's a while ago.
Yeah. So,
well, that whole Nannup, Busselton, Denmark, all those areas, they're all renowned for having sightings of thylacines and other animals. So, especially Nannup. Have you been to Nannup of recent?
Yeah. Just wife and I, we arrived from Tassie, and we finally got in our house here, and I think Mrs. had a little bit of a breakdown, so we went to Nannup for a coffee and just sat and had lunch there and then come back home. But we haven't had a chance to relax, and we've been in the place about it since April. So when the cool weather comes, I want to do some travelling down south.
Yeah, it's beautiful country. We actually launched our documentary at the theatre in Nannup.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Have you seen our doco on our YouTube channel?
No, I haven't. But I got that excited at some of your stuff that you've got there, and that I've been getting up early in the morning and looking at your video bits and pieces on your awareness thing on the Facebook, and you've got me going. And
oh, that's good, mate. That's what it's all about. I mean, you could be doing a lot worse things with your spare time.
Oh no, I got tons of time apart from when helping the kids, the grandkids. But yeah, we got plenty of time on our hands. I mean, it won't be my wife coming with me, but I'll have the camera and I'm gonna do a bit of sightseeing down south by myself. I like taking photographs.
Yeah, well, all power to you, mate. Hopefully he pays you another visit.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Every Tuesday when I was in Geeveston, I used to go out with a couple of blokes, and we used to kayak in the rivers, and we saw I don't know what they call it. It was like a huge rat, and it would be nearly a metre long, and my mate said they're native rats. Well, I told the ranger, and he said there's no such thing. He said that would be European rat, and that's what I was disappointed at, you know.
It's probably a water rat. They actually call them native otters in some areas. They're quite big.
Yeah, it was huge, and it followed our kayak. But my cats, and I'm so upset, my cats caught a family of rats, and I've never seen anything like them. This old cat of mine, he got them under the house. We lived in a 100-year-old house, and he killed them, but I couldn't stop him. I used to lock him up at night, but he got under there, he got the whole nest. Now, they're nothing like I've ever seen. I took photos of them. They had fat faces, and when I got up in the morning, they were going green. They had a green tinge to their coat, and I don't know. When I said to the ranger, that'd be some sort of bandicoot. Rubbish. They weren't bandicoots.
Oh, well, flick us a photo if you want. We'll have a look.
I've got thousands of pictures on my. I'm going to have to go through because I put them on this. Yeah, I will hunt rats from time to time, and I lay them out. The cat laid them on the grass. Now these weren't like European cats; they were fat-faced.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, there's quite a few different native rodents.
Yes, it is.
I'm no expert by no means, but I used to be a pest controller back in South Australia back in the day, so I've dealt with feral rats plenty of times.
Yes.
But we do get some native rats on the trail cams. We've got about 70-odd trail cameras out in Tassie at any one time.
Oh, right, yeah.
And we do get quite a few different little rats and possums and dunarts and what's the other one?
Quolls?
Yeah, quolls. We get quolls and devils and stuff. There's another little rodent type thing. I can't remember the name of it at the moment. It's evading me. Yep. But anyway... yeah, if you want to flick us through a couple of photos, I can have a crack at it and see if I can find out what it is for you.
It's going to take me a while to find them, but I had a lot on the computer, but I started uploading them onto discs.
Oh, so, yeah.
But I get carried away. I've taken hundreds and hundreds of photos. But yeah, if I find them, you'll get them.
All right, mate. No worries. Well, look, I really appreciate your time and your story, Rob. That's excellent. Thank you so much for that.
And really nice to hear you. So, yeah, you on holiday in Tassie, or you're...
No, I've got a property out in the northeast. I'm from South Australia originally.
Yes.
But I've just sort of come back down here and set myself up and got a few leads out here. You know, we've got all these cameras out, so I attend to them and go camping a reasonable amount and chase up a lot of stories and stuff. But yeah, just dealing with the Facebook groups keeps me busy.
I reckon it would do, yeah.
Yeah, it does. There's about 170 people waiting to join at the moment that are just going to have to be patient.
That's really lovely. You've stimulated me, got me going again, mate. And I mean, I like taking pictures of any of our Australian species. Anything I see out there. And I don't know whether have you ever come across a guy called Jerry Lockman?
No, can't say I have.
Okay, that's okay. He's Czech. He escaped the Czech Republic a long, long time ago, and he takes amazing photographs of wildlife, stuff that the museum want to know where he saw them, and he won't. He said, but he takes pictures of some pretty amazing things.
Okay, he's in Tassie, is he?
No, he lives here. I haven't come across him. We used to work together at the Perth Zoo, but very interesting guy. I don't think he would let you record him or anything, but he's a pretty amazing fella. Jerry, Jiri, or George Lockman. And I think his business is Jerry Lockman Transparencies. I think he takes the odd person out and shows them where to take photos of things. But I just wondered if you come across him.
No, I haven't, mate. But it sounds like he's probably might have seen a few things, you reckon?
Oh, he's seen lots of things. He did a slideshow at the Perth Zoo of. He said, "Well, I don't know what one of them looked like a prairie dog. I don't get it." But he said, and I won't tell anyone where it is. But his pictures are jumping out the pages. They look so good. Awesome. And someone made me laugh once. I took some pictures and they said, "Did you Photoshop that?" I don't know how to Photoshop, mate.
Yeah, I get accused of Photoshopping all the time. I don't really pay much attention to it. I don't even have Photoshop on my laptop, so...
No. Well, my son's got me Photoshop 6 and I had to ditch it because I didn't know how to use it. I can crop something and I can make it a bit lighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've only just taught myself how to use Movie Maker so I can start making some of these sightings report videos for our YouTube channel, so... it's a slow process. I'm not exactly tech savvy, so I always laugh when they tell me I've Photoshopped stuff.
Yeah, I know. That'd crack me up because if you saw me on a computer, I'm not that good.
Yeah.
But hey, look, really nice to talk to you. Keep the good work up. I'll keep watching your stuff. But if I took a picture of a lot of stuff. They call it the roadkill capital, Tasmania.
Yeah, they do.
The dead animals from beautiful big Tassie devils. But I used to stop, take a picture of them. A couple of them I carried home, well, they were dead, and the ranger said to me, "We catch you with a dead animal in your vehicle, you could go to jail." I went, "Oh, stuff, I'm not doing that no more."
Yeah, it's all right to leave them in the middle of the road for the eagles and the quolls to get hit by cars chewing on them,
but
I know. Whatever you do, don't pick them up and be responsible with it. That's just...
Well, what I started doing when he said that, I just got a shovel and used to flick them off into the bush. You know?
Yeah. If they're in a spot where I can pull over safely, I usually drag them off the road so the eagles and that don't get cleaned up.
Absolutely.
All right, mate. Well, look, great talking to you. You enjoy your day here. I know it's Christmas Day, so go and relax and have a beer on me, eh?
Oh, no, mate. It's very, very hot here.
Yeah, all right. Well, you enjoy it.
The climate where you are.
Yeah, it's only about 17 degrees here. It's pretty cool.
Oh, mongrel. I love 17 degrees. See you later, buddy.
All right. All the best, mate. Ta-da.